Today we are dividing with whole numbers and fractions. It is the last of the operations you have to learn for 5th grade fractions. And we're going to answer the questions. What does division with fractions look like when I'm working with models? And what's the algorithm for dividing fractions? Well, here we're looking at a whole number divided by a fraction. It's 2 divided by 1/2. And so I'm wondering what will happen when I take 2 and divide them each into 1/2, because that's what that's asking me to do. Okay, so there's that. Let's count pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I took 2 and divided them each into 1/2, I ended up with 4 pieces when I was done. Okay, so that's how that works with models if I'm dividing a whole number by a fraction. What's the algorithm? Well, it's going to look a little strange, but that's okay. We're going to take our 2, and just like I was telling you yesterday, we're going to go ahead and put that over 1 because it doesn't change the value of the fraction, but it does make it a little bit easier to work with. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my division to multiplication. That's a little strange, but it becomes less strange when you see what I do next. Next, I'm going to take this 1/2 and I'm going to flip it. We call that finding its reciprocal. I want the opposite. Okay, so the opposite of 1 over 2 would be 2 over 1. Now, how does that work? Well, because I just did the opposite of this and then the opposite of that, and that'll take me where I want to be. Now I just need to multiply straight across. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 over 1 is the same as 4. So there it is with both a model and with the algorithm. We'll practice some more. Like, here's 3 divided by 3/4. Okay, well, let's take our 3 wholes and divide them into 3/4 each. There we are divided into fourths. And I'm going to remind you of something you already know, and that's that division is repeated subtraction. So when I look at a problem like 3 divided by 3/4, what I'm really asking is how many times can I take 3/4 out of 3? Well, let's find that out real quick. Here's 1, 2, 3 3/4. 1, 2, another 3/4. And yet, there we go. Okay, so for each one it was easy to take out 3/4, but look what's left. 1, 2, 3. Let's get that colored in too. Check it out. 2, 3. I was able to take 3/4 out of 3. 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th time. So we know that when I divide 3 by 3/4, I get 4. Well, let's look at it as an algorithm. All right, the algorithm is to take the whole number, place it over 1, flip the fraction, and change from division to multiplication. So let's do that. We're going to take our 3, we're going to place that over 1. It's easier to work with. Instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply. Instead of dividing by 3/4, I'm going to multiply by 4/3. The reciprocal, the opposite. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. That would be improper. So we're going to divide 12 by 3, and you're going to figure out real quick that that is also going to be 4. So whether I'm doing it with the model or whether I'm doing it with numbers in an algorithm, I come up with 4. Now let's take 5 and divide it by 1/5. Right, drawing with these is a little bit more of a challenge. Let's go ahead and divide this into fifths. Makes 5 triangles, by the way. Okay. All right. So there we are. It's not exactly even, but you get the idea that each one is going to give me 5 pieces, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm getting an answer of 25. Okay, let's do it the other way. 5 goes over 1. Multiply, use the reciprocal. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 1 is 1. 25 over 1 is the same as 25. Our answer is 25 both times. All right, so it seems like we've got that under control. Let's flip this. What if I've got to divide a fraction by a whole number? And this time I'm asked to take 2/3 and divide that by 2. All right, let me do that right quick. Let's see. Let's line that right about there. That's half. Okay, so there we are. We've got 2/3 divided by 2. Well, I need 2 to stay my numerator, and I'll show you a second why it works that way. Just right now, know that it does. So there's going to be my numerator. Okay? Now how many pieces are there total? There aren't 3 pieces anymore, there are now 6. So 2/3 divided by 2 is 2/6, and that should make sense to you because you know that a third is twice as big as a sixth. It worked out. We divided 2/3 by half. All right, let's do the algorithm here so you can see. It's not going to change much from what I was doing. I'm still going to put my whole number over 1. I'm still going to multiply. I'm still going to use the reciprocal. So if I do that, I start with 2/3 divided by 2 over 1. Okay. 2/3 multiply, use the reciprocal. 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. Check us out. Same thing both times. Now a minute ago, I said that I already knew that my numerator was going to be 2, and I told you I would explain that to you in a second. Well, here's why. When I take 2 and I place it over 1, when I take any whole number and I place it over 1, and then I come to use the reciprocal right here, every time I flip it, look what's going to be on top. A 1. Any number times 1 equals that same number. So I know that whenever I'm dividing by a whole number, whatever this number is going to be my numerator in my answer because I'll end up multiplying it by 1. All right, so my next example in my notebook is 5/6 divided by 3. And if you take a look, you'll see that we've already got 5/6. We just need to divide it by 3. So let's draw a line. I'm going to ballpark a third right about there. Oop, come back. Okay, and then our second one. Alright, so we have taken 5/6 and divided it by 3. I already know what my numerator is going to be. It's going to end up being 5. So we're going to take this top row, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to turn that into a numerator. Whoops. Okay. And then, how many pieces do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 12, 18. I now have 5/18. Let's do the math. Let's start by putting our 3 over 1. 5, 6. Okay, multiply. Find the reciprocal. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 3 is 18. 5/18 is our final answer. All right, one more. We've got 3/4 and we're dividing it by 2. That's easy enough. There we go. Our 3/4 is divided by 2. So let's look at our model. We've got 1, 2, 3 in our first row, and that will become, maybe I can do a better job this time. Yeah, there we go. That's going to become our numerator, and we already knew that because a 3 is already the numerator. How many pieces do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So our answer is going to be 3/8. Let's do the math. Okay, 3/4 times the reciprocal of 2. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. Done. And looking good. So today we answered the questions. What does division with fractions look like when I'm working with models? Well, you've seen that. What's the algorithm for dividing fractions? Well, we're going to take our whole number, place it over 1, and then division becomes multiplication, and the second fraction is flipped to become the reciprocal of the one we started with. Multiply straight across, and it's under control. Well done. We'll work some more with this in the morning.